In a vision I had, what took place, because I had no choice, I was forced to come back here I actually didn't have to come back here because I had enough money to stay where I was. But I came back here because there was a lot of death that took place, right? And then I wanted to come and try to reconcile everything because there was a lot of stuff that was going on in my phone that didn't really make sense. And I figured the best way to figure out what's really taking place is if you come back home to Memphis, Tennessee, and then you try to reach out to the individuals and try to figure out what took place and what happened. But unfortunately, you can't reconcile with people that don't want to fix an issue. Many of people that I have already reached out to, they have just been looking for a reason to have a problem because they know that I did nothing to them for them to treat me the way that they treated me. But I came back here to try to fix it. But the problem is you can't fix something that people don't want to have fixed, right? You can't fix what's broken. If people like it broken, they will only do more things to keep it broken. Every time you try to fix it, they will try to break it more and more and more and more. Because that is the necessity of what they need at that moment. They need for it to remain broken. So what took place was that I had a vision that I came back home to Memphis, Tennessee. I always knew I was going to have to come back home at one point because God kept telling me to go back home, but I kept avoiding it. And he wasn't telling me through any visions, by the way. What he was telling me was that at some point I needed to go back home. And to go back home, what I needed to do, I needed to reconcile everything that took place in my life with my family members and try to figure out how we can mend it. The problem is, many of the family members that I have already reached out to, they have already shared that they don't really want to mend it. They have been trying to find other problems to create more issues. So the issues that have already taken place, I have already forgave them for it. I just needed to speak with them to go over what happened so that we can make sure it doesn't happen again. The problem is they never wanted to fix in the first place. So when God kept telling me this, I kept avoiding it. And then at some point I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go back because I realized I was receiving mercy from people that I didn't even know more than I was receiving it from people that I grew up with. And then God kept sharing with me. He shared with me in a vision, he shared with me that when I came back home, my former pastor was going to try to find a way to say I was mentally ill. I have reasons as to why it is imperative for them to try to make that come to pass, but I'm going to leave that reason alone. But I also what I saw was that my mother at that time was trying to, I guess, keep it from happening, right? That's what I saw. I saw that my mother, I'm going to tell you exactly how I saw it. I saw that my mother was distressed. I saw that she was in need of help, right? Like emotionally, there was something going on. I saw that she did not want me to be classified as mentally ill. And I saw that it was having an effect on her. When I saw her in the vision, I saw her hair falling out completely. It was weighing on her that much. That's how distraught she looked. And she had gained some weight. I saw that she was emotional, and then I saw her hair not falling out, but I saw that it was just completely all over the place. And she was trying to direct me. And I was trying to follow the direction, but the problem is I was having difficulty following the direction because that direction was not the direction that I was given from God. So we was having issues. And then now I come back here to try to mend it, to make sure that we get on one accord. But unfortunately, I still have to be very careful because my mother still attends that church. And I have been seeing that I need to stay away from the church, not just based on what I saw in the vision, but based on how the church members treated me. And I had to be careful and do what was best for me. So God kept telling me we don't fight against each other. And the best thing that I know to do to make sure that we don't fight against each other is to stay away from the church. Because I have already reached out to these church members. I have shared information with them. And unfortunately, it is not the best outcome. I guess I can say that. So because I have reached out to these people, and called them and did what I could to try to mend everything that was broken. I am now forced to wait on a response that I have been waiting on for quite some time to figure out what is going on. And then that will let me know whether or not it is okay for me to attend the church. But as far as I know, it is not safe for me to attend the church because what I remember I was left homeless, sleeping in a car. And I reached out to people and no one came to help me. And even though I have a forgiving heart, I came back to try to fix the situation. And what I find is that no one still wants to help me. So I must now do what I know that is best for me, and that's by any means necessary. I came here to show respect to my parents. I came here to mend a relationship the best that I could. Whether or not I want a relationship does not matter. I still have to be open because that is what being a servant of God is. And I still have to be very careful at the same time because I can't ignore God's instructions. And I cannot ignore what he has already shared with me. So also when I had that vision, I was also seeing in a vision that I had at some point, my little brother, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I don't know what took place with this, but I know at some point, I remember seeing that me and my little brother were going to meet up. I don't know how we were going to meet up. I know this because I kept seeing it over and over again. And I don't know why I kept seeing it. Like I said, I am like Amos in the Bible. I have to wait on God to give me an interpretation of things because I have no formal training. The one that was formally training me has decided to step away from me. I have reached out to them to try to figure out what went wrong, to try to fix what happened. And unfortunately, I have not gotten a response. So I am here following God's instruction and doing what I can do in the process. And that is waiting on him to give me an interpretation. But what I saw in these visions, I saw that me and my little brother met up. I saw that at some point he was going to come live with me in Virginia, but then that didn't take place, right? It was like a possibility of what could happen. Then I saw that when I came back home, and that me and him, we were talking, and then we was having some issues. I was trying to save his life because someone had hired a murderer. Someone had hired someone to take his life. That's what I saw. It was a struggle. And what I saw is that I was combating the murderer to try to save my little brother's life. And I remember breaking down in the middle of my living room because I was not ready to see that. I was not ready to see all of the deaths that God was showing me. But he had to keep showing it to me because he had to make me strong to make sure that I wasn't in my feelings, because this is a part of the ministry. So that's what took place. I kept seeing all of these things take place. And I kept saying, well, what's going on? What happened? I don't know if it's changed. Like I said, I was having these visions long ago. And there was something that could have taken place that I'm not aware of. That's why I stopped speaking about it. And because I don't speak to them, and we are always at odds every time they get on the phone because they always trying to find a reason to fight or be upset or be angry, then I cannot be around them long because this is not who I am. And that is not who they're going to make me to be. So I have fully prepared to give up my family and be on my own by myself. If anyone comes around me that I feel is threatening my relationship with God, and that is how I would stand. And it will continue to stay that way. Anybody I feel is intentionally trying to threaten my relationship with God, you make your own decisions. You follow your own God. You do whatever it is that you do. That is on you. But if you intentionally come in my life, trying to mess up my relationship with God, trying to get me to fall, trying to get me to sin, then I now consider myself to have an issue with you. And then it will be my life for yours, your life for mine. You are not welcome around me. And anything that happens outside of that is no longer my concern. Because what I know is that you intentionally decided to be a stumbling block for me, to try to sabotage me. And I can't have people like that around me. Because the Bible says we don't produce dead works. And anybody that is practicing that is already dead. They just don't know it. So like I said, I had no formal training, but I was called to prophesy, and then I was rejected. So I tried to mind my own business and keep moving, which is what I'm continuously trying to do to this day. But unfortunately, I have a lot of people in my family that seems to be my biggest enemies, and I'm waiting for them to be removed properly. And I want to make sure I do it formally so that there will be no misunderstandings, which is why I chose to reach out to everybody for them to state their case. But unfortunately, I'm not getting many responses. And the responses I am getting are not really adding up. No one's really giving any information, and their arguments are not based on anything. And I am done tolerating disrespect, cursing and yelling and talking crazy for absolutely no reason. When someone asks you a simple question, when someone shares simple information with you, I am tired of it. So if someone is looking to have a problem with me, they will have a problem with themselves first, because I am not interested in arguing with anyone whom I consider to be immature and unable to have an adult conversation. And it will remain that way.